Alright, what's going on? So now we're going to look at Kenrith again. I wanted to make a couple more changes, but I think we got the recording settings doing a little bit better. And look at that altar. Nice. So going back to Kenrith again, a couple things I want to look at with him. First, check out this. So for our Kenrith cube, I did some art on these to kind of highlight cards that were important to the deck. Like Malboro is really important. You can get into detail on that later. And then you should know what that guy is. The Bizarre Baghdad dude. And then seeing here, we have cards that are considered a bit stronger. Maybe these are the bracket 4s / going into CDH territory with Kenrith. And so we're not really going to be talking about that today. Oh, no, I can't get it in there. There we go. So pretty cool idea how we organize the cube. And then this one has alternative ones that I haven't decided what to do with yet. Did the artwork on that one though. Nice little tropical island. That one's a tundra. So pretty cool. More ways to personalize the deck. But so today we're going to be looking at why we're taking out these 3 cards or 4 cards. And purely it's just because we want this deck to feel good in the power level that it's at. I've been having a lot of talks with my brother, and I feel like it's really difficult, really hard for me to make a bracket 3 deck, a true bracket 3 that isn't focused around winning. And I'm playing, you know, kind of, I guess, for fun, if that's a good term. I still try to win, but it is for fun. Yeah, check out the playmat. This is the one we draw on all the time. So Agatha, as good as she is, she's amazing for what we were doing with our creatures and for trying to get like a cost reduction Kenrith going in terms of like our Kenrith activations, because like just putting a +1/+1 on her is going to reduce the activation for our reanimation, so it goes hand in hand. But I think she's the weakest of the reducers that we can run, because we already have Training Grounds and then we already have Zerta. So this one, oh, we already have Biomancer's Familiar too. So this is the 4th one. So this is the weakest, and it's also one less piece of, I guess, consistency for comboing. So that's kind of like why I was on the thinking about removing this card for the bracket 3 lower power variant of Kenrith. Nature's Claim. I really like this card. I think it's sick. I love the Final Fantasy art on it. It's like such a memorable moment, like right from the beginning of 6. But ultimately I have counter spells to make sure, or to try to ensure that a enchantment doesn't get stuck, right? So in that regard, like I'm kind of leaning more into my counter spells, and then also the creature synergies that I have with removal. So that's why I kind of thought that this would be an okay piece of removal to remove. Now, kind of getting into this one. This one's a hard cut. I like Sun Titan. I think it's an awesome card. I don't get to play it enough because where I usually play is higher power, and that doesn't really allow for Sun Titan. And I'm incredibly partial to this too, just because it is an artist proof one that I picked up. Really cool card. But yeah, I just kind of like the fact that he's a threat that when you res him, or when you reanimate him, when he attacks or enters, and you know we have ways to blink creatures in this deck with Deadeye Navigator or Emil if we're running the higher variant that I showed earlier in a different video. But yeah, don't think that this is necessarily the best reanimator or kind of like support reanimator creature in this deck currently right now, just because I'm not running so many 3-drops in here. If I was running So watch, we'll move this real quick. This card, right, like Sun Titan, you can make a case. It's in the bag, Sun Titan, you can make a case to have him be in the deck as a type of reanimation, as another form of like reanimation, and to be an annoyance when you get more enchantments that are recursion. So when you have your necromancy, right? And then also when you have your Grand Abolisher, so at a higher bracket level, like when you have the Grand Abolisher out, when you have these lower mana things, like the Esper Sentinel Draw Engine, and where's the one I was looking for? Yeah, like when you have the engines, and when you have these lower creatures that just provide you more value, he makes more sense. But in the current list of things, we don't have that many 3-drops that he would be getting for us. So that's why I was kind of leaning towards cutting that one. I'll go this way. Yeah, really like that artwork I did. I thought it was pretty cool. Not real. Anyways, so yep, this one doesn't really necessarily fit with our creature base. So we'll go over here real quick. Before we talk about what's replacing them, we'll just go through the creatures briefly. So you can see there's not that many 4-drops. So just discard removal piece, right? We've already went over that. 9-drop, 3-drop, it would be able to recur Zerta. 3-drop, it would be able to recur one of our big mana producers. It would be able to produce or recur a mana dork. No. A reducer. Our PFB. Not our Ruin Grinder. Not our Lotho. Or yes, our Lotho, sorry. Yes, our Taro. Yes, Ragavan. No to Seaborn. Yes to Psychic Frog. No to Malboro. Yes to our Manadork. No to our Deadeye Navigator. Yes to our Bird. No to our Dragon Mage. Yes to our Priest. No. Yep, Burn Norman. Cool card. No to our Shieldbird. Yes to our Eternal Witness. Yes to our Ledger Shredder. Yes to our Lock. And yes to our Balloon Tender. So we can gain and allow us to re-get our enablers, but not so much our payouts. So it could be useful in that regard, but I think because I have Sadine's Reclamation and also Eternal Witness, that this kind of is a bit of redundancy that I don't necessarily need. This one's really hard to take out, just because I'm a huge fan of Consecrated Sphinx. I think it's an amazing card, and obviously I love the altar that we got done from Kai. Super, super badass looking. Tough to get rid of, but man, when this card comes down, like, you know, like when this card gets placed down, you are automatically the threat. There is no politicking your way around not being targeted. And plus for that bracket 3, it's kind of like a gray area where it's like a game changer, but I don't necessarily want to be always playing as the arch villain if I'm trying to play more friendly games. So this one's tough. I'm going to sit on this one for a little bit, and we're going to see how I feel about it. No one might be coming back. Layer there. So let's go over what we're bringing in for those 4 changes. So number 1, Formidable Speaker. This card's busted. That's it. Just cut it off. It's just too strong. If it feeds our synergy, what we want to do, it lets me discard to bin a creature to be able to reanimate it, and then it also lets me tutor for a creature that can have any particular answer for anything that I need, because it's kind of a toolbox mid-range reanimator deck. So yeah, this guy does everything. And then plus, not to mention the fact that I can pay 1 mana to untap target permanent that's tapped. So we would be able to untap our Bloom Tender, our Fabro Elder, and potentially get another couple cycles or reanimations or card draws out with those. So that's pretty good, kind of like glue piece in the deck. Next one's Twilight Diviner, and this one This one's pretty sick. When this card first got spoiled, I was high on this card. I was like, yo, this card is going to be so good. Just purely because of Surveil, too. This deck is running so much Surveil, and it kind of just operates as like this churning engine for the deck. So we could just tear through our Kenrith deck and bin what we need to fast and get things reanimated and have our plan on board. And this kind of allows us to kind of get the wheels going where they need to go, but even a step faster. And that's what's awesome about it. So yeah, one more piece of Surveil. We can obviously resurrect it. It can be blinked out with Deadeye Navigator or Emil if we're running the higher up tier list. And then the cool thing is it does copy non-legendaries, or the token copy when it enters in from the graveyard. So it's also some hidden shenanigans that we could do there. Imagine like double Archons or token Archon. Like, wow. 2 Archon triggers is pretty sick. Next one, Corpse Connoisseur, and I know it's like, Mike, like, hey, you're trying to play bracket 3, but I like tutoring, man. I'm a mono black player. Like, I love tutoring. I know that's degenerate in some circles or some players like view, but it is what it is. I love tutoring. And I think this card just fits kind of like with our whole Unearth package that we have in here. In terms of, we have a lot of cards like, again, Sylvian's Reclamation, Priest of Felrites, that can just continuously keep offering that value even in the graveyard. And I think this kind of fits the bill. And then again, it kind of functions as a creature entomb. And like, yeah, I could be running Violent Tumor. I could be running better spells that, you know, Unmarked Grave. I could be, I mean, look at it's right here. I could be running like better cards that do that. Right? Like, I mean, that's better right there. 100% better. We could be running that, but it's not about that though, right? We're trying to make it more table friendly, and it does fit the theme that it is a creature. So I think it's, again, a little too synergistic to not be included with our lower level Kenrith deck, our bracket 3 Kenrith deck. And then certainly last but not least, our Exhume. Exhume is chef's kiss good. The amount of times I've hit this in the like very beginning, like first turn, like turn 1 through 3, and it's amazing because if you do this quick enough, if you're able to race and get it in there, like you have it in your opening hand, you're lucky you draw into it. Like, it's so sweet because nobody gets to capitalize on the reanimation but you. So really good card, really partial to it because I love Carl's art. Actually, this was another artist proof that I picked up. Haven't gotten one that he's done artwork on yet, but I'm gonna do that soon. I really like his art. I think it's really sick. But yeah, so these are the changes that we made for the lower bracket 3 Kenrith, and we still have the higher variant, and obviously the higher variant of Kenrith is going to be running Consecrated Sphinx, and Search for the Frozen Esper is going to be in there too. And real quick, I'll kind of showcase this again, because I showed this a couple times. But I'm going to cover up a higher level one, or I'm going to go over a higher level one then soon. To kind of like go through my process to how I look at changes for this deck, just because I've been playing it. It's my only deck I really have right now. I'm getting ready to deconstruct 2 of my other decks, just because I don't get to play as much as I used to. But yeah, so Peregrine Drake, obviously this goes in the higher up one, because when you blink him with Emil, or when you blink him with Deadeye Navigator, he produces infinite mana, so huge. Atali, obviously, I mean, come on. Blinking Atali, everybody knows. Shallow Grave, more instant types of reanimation, not in the lower bracket ones. Same thing with Necromancy and Enchantment. Composite Golem, my favorite win line with Kenrith is this creature. This creature is so sick. And the way it works is you just get 1 reducer, sacrifice the golem, then Kenrith produces you have all 5 mana available. You have Wooburg. Then, because of the reduction in cost from a Zerda or from an Agatha or from a Biomancer's Familiar or a Training Ground, you're able to then re-summon him with Kenrith's Resurrection ability. And then with that, then you sacrifice him again, and it allows you to net whatever color mana you want for infinite. Tithe, I think I talked about this in a previous video, super overrated or underrated. There's our Cradle for higher level. There he is. That's the problem. Love this card. Little pony goes hard. Esper. Obviously, this is what I wanted to go over. I wanted to go over World Gorger Dragon, kind of like tech with Kenrith stuff that we can start incorporating in higher, in our bracket 4s, just because it's a disgusting win that I don't see too many Kenriths on. I don't see any even CDH Kenriths on him, but I would imagine this is probably going to be making a little bit of a comeback because I've seen some lists already incorporating Composite Golem. So I'd imagine this is going to be next, just because it kind of goes hand in hand with how you can set up like really sneaky creature wins that kind of come out of nowhere and are really hard to interact with. But yeah, I don't know. That's a lower level, like low level bracket 3 Kenrith. So I don't know. Maybe I'll show 2 or show 4 next time.